Okay, so we're going to have a look at the various kits we got in the Airfix 12 Days of Christmas. This is the Boomerang Vintage Classic. Yeah, and as suspected, this is a classic, or old, Airfix kit. It does have a separately bagged canopy, which is good. The mouldings themselves, however, are definitely older, and the kit overall is likely to require some work. So that's that one. Next up, we have the Focke-Wulf FW190-A8. Now I do have this already as a starter kit, which you could buy from Aldi or Lidl, I believe, and it is a really nice kit. It's got nice decals, nice instructions. It's a new mould, as you can tell straight away from the actual kit, which is very well engineered. So I'm looking forward to that, but it's not something that you can't already get elsewhere at much lower than the Airfix RRP. The so-called Firefly, it wasn't actually called the Firefly, but still. This again is a new kit, new tooling, really nice moulding. The only doubt that I have is the split tracks, but I haven't actually built it yet, so we'll have to see. This is again one you can get for much cheaper as a starter set from retail outlets. The Tiger, it's exactly the same as the Sherman. Again, split track. It's an interesting feature, but I'm pretty dubious about it. This feels a lot heavier than the Sherman, but again, we'll have to see. It is moulded, however, in a really nasty colour. I know they moulded the original Tiger kit in a sort of sand colour, but this is more of a sort of baby poo brown. Once again, this is available as a starter set and at a lower price. Okay, first of the kits I don't actually already have and that I might actually buy, and that's the Spitfire Mark 5C. Now I expect this to be a new tool, and we can see here that it's very similar to the Spitfire Mark 1 that Airfix do as a starter set, but with some alternative and additional parts. We can see we've got here a clipped wing, but it looks like there's a lot of commonality. As in the bag it looks like we've got Mark 1 parts, whereas these look like Mark 5 parts specifically. Of course the 5 had Hispano cannons in the wings. It looks good. It's modern tooling, and I'm pretty excited about that one. Here's a kit I probably wouldn't have bought by itself, especially at the RRP of $17.99, and it's the MiG-17 Fresco. It's a big box for a relatively small kit, so let's have a look at these sprues. So we have a separately bagged canopy, which is good. Okay, so it's definitely a modern moulding. Really nice panel lines. We've got external fuel tanks here. Some really nice detail here on these wheel well doors. It's also quite clever how they've moulded this, the air intake. It's quite a complex shape in order to get the air intake right and to get the cockpit tub and its detail all in there. Although what you're actually going to see in the cockpit of a 172nd MiG-17 is going to be pretty limited when it's finished, I think. So it actually looks pretty nice. And the Chinese Shenyang version is quite a nice camouflage scheme, so I might well end up doing this one rather than the rather dull metal Soviet one. Right, the ME262B1A/U1. so I won't be doing it as the post-war Czech trainer, as that looks pretty dull. So this looks pretty nice, though I do have quite a few of the 1990s Revell tooling of the 262, which was pretty much definitive from my eyes in terms of detail and also price point. This looks really very comparable with that. Some really nice detail here in the nose wheel well, as well as for the Jumo 004 engines. It's got a nice cockpit tub, a legless radar operator for some reason. Some nice fine detail on the radar antenna. That looks pretty good. It's a nice looking kit, though not one I'd have bought, basically due to its price point of £24 and my existing kit stash already having some. I think RRP for this is massively overpriced, considering you can get an Edward Weekend Edition kit for just over £15. Now the Beaufort, which is the same price as the ME262, but you're getting a lot more in the box here. Kit details and mouldings look pretty nice here, and it essentially looks like a scaled down 148 kit actually. I must say I'm really impressed with the engineering of modern Airfix kits. I would say they're fast becoming a favourite of mine of late. They're producing some really good kits of some interesting subjects like this one, which will look great out of the box, and they're also, a great base for super detailing too. I mean, look here, including all the internal ribbing at 1/72nd scale, I remember doing the old Airfix Hampton kit and having to do all of this by hand, which isn't difficult, but it's a really dull pain to do. Transparencies look good, and a bag separately is the standard nowadays. Some nice schemes for this as well. I might do the later one, although it's always difficult to make the decision on these things. So here's a kit I wouldn't normally have chosen, and that's the Tiger Moth. Okay, so it's a 48 scale kit, but it's about the same size as a 1/72nd aircraft because the Tiger Moth is such a small plane. So once again, it's a modern Airfix tooling. Looks like you have a full engine there. So I think it'll be an interesting build, and it'll look nice at the end, especially in this nice checkered red and white finish, which looks really nice. I think this could be an interesting change of pace and flavour, and a very well used and ubiquitous aircraft, the old Tiger Moth. The Westland Sea King, which of course is a license-built version of the US Sikorsky helicopter. I have to say, helicopters are not really my thing. I have occasionally done helicopters, but they're a pain in the arse to store because of the rotor blades. This again looks like it's got great detail. It's actually a pretty big aircraft, the Sea King. Some nice delicate panel lines, crisp mouldings. Oh, is that broken? There's some very delicate castings and pieces here. Oh my god, look at this. Now, interestingly, this looks like seating, and the legs are very delicate. Well cast, but I'd have expected something to protect these better, as they're just kind of hanging out there. Yep, so I'm going to put these down at the bottom, where they're flat, to try and stop them getting broken. The rotors, oh damn, this is, oh wow. Okay, the scale thickness is great, but yeah, they're floppy. Okay, here, yeah, you can see the place for all of the chair legs. That's going to be fun, aligning all of those at once, I can see. Yeah, jury's out on this kit, I think. Okay, 48 scale Mustang. I have an old monogram 48th Mustang and a Tamiya one as well. So this seems in line with much of Airfix's recent releases. Nicely moulded, really nice detail going on. So yeah, I think with the Mustang, a lot of it is about the finish. Because it's a nice plane, but this scheme is a bit dull. I think the glossy, lacquered, natural metal finishes with bold colours are much nicer. I do like what Airfix are doing with these colour instruction sheets though. So yeah, looks nice, I'm just not super excited about it. Lastly, I was not expecting to be that bothered about the Phantom, but this glossy black British finish looks pretty cool. And again, the traditional Aria finish is quite appealing as well. We'll see, because this is the largest box in the collection. Now, if I can open this, my scalpel appears to be as blunt as they come. Obviously need to change the blade on this one. Now this is nice, you get two sets of transparencies here. One for having the canopies open, and one for them being closed. It's a lot of plastic, but it's not going to be a massive kit. Looks like you've got some great detail here though. And there's the radar. The sprue here seems to be a lot of stores. There's some nice internal detail here. Compressor blades for the engines. All that's quite good. Yeah, it's not a huge aircraft. It's substantial, but... Oh, look at this. Folded wingtips. Now, that is nice. So yeah, this is one of those wildcard surprises that you're pleased about. So there you have it. That is the Airfix 12 Days of Christmas. Now in terms of whether it's worth it, I've done a few calculations as you can see here, and I think it's borderline. On the face of it, you're getting almost £240 worth of kits for £150, which is about 37% off. Now the cheapest I could find these kits elsewhere was for a combined price of £182, or about 25% on quarter off. But that of course doesn't include any shipping fees or anything, and of course if you buy it from Airfix, the shipping for the bundle is free, at least in the UK. So on the face of it, it doesn't look like a bad deal. The flip side of that is what I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought. So if I did buy half of these kits, it would have been from other retailers at a cheaper price, meaning I'd have spent half as much for half of the kits. So I'd then have £75 to spend on other kits that I did want to buy. So as to whether this is worth your money, I guess it really depends on your outlook, whether you like surprises. I think if I were in charge of Airfix sales, I'd be more inclined to give a better deal here. Offer, say, £300 worth of kits for £150. Be very clear and upfront about that. Provide some examples of what could be in the package. You've got the full disclaimer that the contents may change, so if you find you've a surplus of a certain kit that you've overproduced, you could use those rather than others. Because then I think it would be definitely worth it, right? I don't think anybody would have any problems in taking that sort of risk. I would certainly recommend doing it if you were getting that sort of a deal. And that would encourage more people to take a chance on essentially what's a blind gamble. You've no guarantee as to what's in these packages at all. Certainly not going to hurt Airfix's bottom line offering, a small, it's like a 13% extra discount on what they're already offering on a package like that. So I imagine the increase in sales would outweigh easily any perceived revenue loss from that small margin. As it is, it's a small increase in discount on what you can find elsewhere online in stores. So I think that's a pretty poor exchange in terms of the amount of money you're saving or potentially saving for the amount of risk in sort of kits you're getting. So I couldn't recommend this as it is. But if you like those sorts of surprises, that's fine. I think if you buy what you want, maybe half the kits for half the money, you've got half the money then to spend on something else or Christmas presents for other people or whatever. So that would be my personal recommendation. I think hold off, look at what you actually want to buy that from other online retail stores. Hopefully Airfix will listen and do a little bit better next year. We'll see. That's all for this instalment of Man's Model Moments. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more like it, and share this video with others you think would also enjoy it. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and if you're feeling generous then I also have a Patreon, which is absolutely the best way of helping me to grow the channel and produce more content like this. With that, I hope you have plenty of modelling moments of your own, and I look forward to welcoming you on the next video.